What's going on, YouTube? The Audi A5 has taken on many forms over the years, from coupe to convertible to sportback. And for those of you looking for even more fun, they make models like this, the 2026 Audi S5. It's long been one of the very best sports sedans money can buy, and it's all new this year with new design, tech, and features. So has Audi perfected the formula this year? Let's go ahead and find out.
Well, as always, let's start things out under the hood for our spec dump. Now on this S5 model, you're going to be having a 3-liter turbo V6 underneath the hood, making 362 horsepower. It is paired to standard quattro all-wheel drive and a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. And your fuel economy will be coming in at 22 mpg combined.
Now the base price for the S5 is $62,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now, of course, we cannot wait to have fun out on the road with this S5 later on. While we're on that drive, we'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, and at the end discussing resale and reliability.
But part of this all-new S5 is the very different exterior design and the interior, so let's go ahead and check those out first.
So let's talk about the exterior design. This, of course, is a very important element for any sports sedan, and that is going to be all new this year for the S5 and Audi A5. Now, before we even get started here, I do want to point out this model used to be called something like the S5 Sportback. However, they have just kind of removed the Sportback designation, and now it's just called the Audi A5 and S5. So up here in the front, let's go ahead and talk about what you're going to get. So what Audi has done is kind of widened out the grille, so you have a very aggressive look up here in the front. You'll notice we have the newest Audi logos as well as some S branding up in the front itself. And because we have the S model, we're going to have that signature silver finish. Now that's what's standard. You can also get a black optic package on the Premium Plus and Prestige models, which will really black things out. Now what's also special for the S5 specifically is this piece over here on the side. It adds a lot of contrast and gives you a little bit more of an aggressive look as compared to something like the A5. Now let's go ahead and talk about the lighting as well. That's very important for the Audi brand, and you are going to indeed have some very premium LED headlights. So these are projector LEDs for both your low and high beam. That's standard equipment. If you choose the Premium Plus model, that's where you're going to get the customizable DRLs up here, as well as the dynamic turn signal. And if you choose the fully loaded Prestige, you'll even get matrix LEDs. And no sports sedan would be complete without very nice looking wheels, and Audi knows that, so they are including standard 19-inch alloy wheels on every single S model. This is actually the standard wheel that you'll find, so you have a nice contrast design. You can also upgrade to 20-inch alloys if you prefer, and the black optic gives you a really nice contrast alloy. Now you will also notice for the S model we have the special brake pads that are painted in red as well as being upgraded for this model. Now, coming up to the mirror itself, you'll notice the silver finish. That's typical with Audi S products. And it's also going to be equipped with all the features, including heating, blind spot monitoring, power folding, and even auto dimming. Now at the side of the S5, our overall vehicle length is 190 inches for this new generation, which means it's about 3 inches longer than what it was before. And I think it looks a little bit taller as well. It's a little bit less sleek than the previous generation. We, of course, have the silver finish for our lower part, as well as our window surrounds that would be blacked out with the black optic model. And then as we head around to the rear, we have a completely new look for this S5. So you still kind of have the overall sportback shape going on through here. We're also going to have a black spoiler on the S5 model, regardless of which exterior paint color you select. New Audi branding, and taking a look at our taillights, that's the biggest departure. It's going to be their new full-length LED taillight unit, so it has a very nice look to it overall. It's also going to have animations, and it's a full LED, so you're going to have LED brake light, LED dynamic turn signal, and your LED reverse light. The Prestige would also add OLED taillights. Dropping down to the lower fascia, this is going to be very aggressive, as expected. And I'm very happy to tell you that the S5 is going to retain the quad exhaust outlets. So let's go ahead and take a listen because it does have an active exhaust. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, you will get 2 out of 4 active safety features as standard equipment on the S5. You will additionally add the other 2 systems if you choose the Premium Plus or Prestige level. But guys, there is a radically new cabin that we need to talk about. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars.
And let's talk about the interior as well. But before we get into that, let's look at the key fob. This is your newest Audi key fob design. It's pretty sleek overall, although it is made of kind of a cheaper matte black plastic. We do have S branding on the back. Of course, you do have remote start available through the app, and smart entry is standard equipment. So as you walk up to the vehicle, you just grab underneath of the door handle, and that will go ahead and unlock it. Of course, you do now have the kind of flush mount door handle design. Now, go ahead and take a look at the interior of this new S5. As you can see, we have a completely, radically different interior design as compared to the previous generation, which was starting to get a little bit dated when it came to interior technology. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the seats, because I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised at what you're finding here. So, standard on the S5 is a real leather seat as expected. However, if you choose the Prestige, or optional here on the Premium Plus, is the full fine Napa leather seat. This is, of course, a very high grade of leather. It feels fantastic. You have all of the quilting details through here, S branding as well. This is a beautifully crafted seat. Black will be the option on most S5s. However, if you choose the Napa leather, you can also get a red interior color if you prefer. Of course, you have standard power adjusting seats as well, and you're also going to have 4-way lumbar support and massage. That is included with the Napa leather seats. You get the massage function as well as the manual thigh extension. Of course, you're also going to have 2-person memory seats. You can see that over here on the door trim. And let's go ahead and hop inside so we can talk about the rest of the interior. So reaching over and shutting up the door, let's go ahead and dive into some interior materials for this all-new S5. So over here on the door trim, we are going to have a suede insert here for our armrest portion that kind of goes up into this part, and you also have some carbon fiber trim through this section. All of the upper part is going to be finished in a leatherette, and then all of the upper dashboard is also finished in a leatherette material. Here on the S5, you are going to get a little bit elevated materials over the traditional A5 model. So the whole center section will also be that same Alcantara finish. And then you have more carbon fiber throughout the entire part through here. And you also have some leatherette trim underneath of that. This whole center section will be piano black, so hopefully that doesn't get too scratched up. But overall, very nice cabin, typical German build quality as well. Now, in order to start it up, you just press your foot on the brake and press the button on the center console. Now that she's all fired up, let's go ahead and start by talking about some of the individual details of this cabin. Now, you'll notice that the tech is completely different from the previous generation, and that starts right up here in our gauge cluster. We have a 11.9-inch digital gauge cluster, and that's going to be standard equipment. It does have quite a bit of different customizability. If you press the view button right there, it kind of gives you a simplistic view or a little bit more information inside of there. Just be aware you cannot put the maps inside of the gauge cluster itself, which is a little disappointing. Now, what's not disappointing is the head-up display. That's going to be included on Premium Plus and Prestige levels, and this is a really advanced head-up display. It has a ton of different information in it, and it is very, very large. And while you're up there, I do want to point out the advanced ambient lighting that's standard on all models. As you can see, as I kind of turn signal there, you have cool animations going through. It's a very nice ambient lighting system, and like I said, that's standard on all models. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, the A5 would get a 2-spoke design. If you get the S5, you get this special accent down here at the bottom with S branding. It's also going to have the nice perforations here on the side. I really like the look of this steering wheel, which I can't say about the A5, so definitely a big improvement for the S model. It's also going to have heating as standard equipment on the Premium Plus and Prestige. You have standard rain sensing wipers, and it's additionally going to be power tilt and telescoping. Now let's talk about interior storage as well, because that's normally not a bright spot for Audi products. And for this new interior setup, we do have better storage, although it's still leaving a little bit to be desired. You'll notice that inside the center console, we have donuts filled inside. That's because our logo is a donut, and we test the center console volume with these stuffed donuts. Inside of here, we're looking at 4 donuts, which certainly isn't fantastic. I wish it was a little bit more than that, but it is better than what it was before. It is an adjustable armrest. And then up in front of that, you have 2 cup holders and a wireless phone charging pad. This actually used to be in the center console, so this is definitely a lot better of a placement. You have 2 USB-C ports as well. Now, the reason for that extra space is because they've made the shifter a little bit smaller. It's a new electronic style, so in order to go into drive, you just pull down. Once more, we'll put you in the sport mode, where you do have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. If I go up into reverse, you will find a 360-degree camera system. That's going to be included on Premium Plus and Prestige levels. As you turn, you have dynamic grid lines, and the camera itself actually does move with the steering wheel to give you a better view overall. There are a couple different other views you can select as well by pressing this button. Just press the P there for park. Be aware, though, brake hold is not available on the S5. Now, over here on the side, you will notice a physical volume knob. I'm really happy they have not gotten rid of the physical control for this. So standard on the Premium Plus trim level and above is a 16-speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system. If you get the Prestige, you additionally get 4 extra speakers, so that would be a 20-speaker setup. Let's go ahead and give it a sample. All right, guys, that is a very, very good audio system. I'm certainly impressed by the audio quality. This is a pretty small cabin, so to have that many speakers, I think you're going to very much like it. Now, moving on from that, we have physical vents right here. And, of course, as far as the climate is concerned, that's going to actually be integrated into the screen. So no more physical controls or anything like that, but adjustment is pretty easy. You just can adjust your temperature up and down like that. As far as other functions, you can press that menu, which will allow you to do different things, such as turn on your heated steering wheel and change your zones. It is going to be a 3-zone automatic setup as standard equipment. Now, off to the left of that, you have standard heated seats on every single model. If you want seat ventilation, you will have to choose the Napa leather seats or get the Prestige level. And now let's pull back and take a look at the overall infotainment system here. So, of course, this is a brand new system for the Audi brand. It's known as Digital Stage. And this screen itself here in the main infotainment is 14.5 inches in size. The resolution is pretty good overall. You're also going to have things like built-in navigation on board. Most importantly, though, you will have things like wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Those are standard equipment on every single model. Overall performance is pretty smooth. Now, over here on the side, you will notice that we have just this piece of piano black plastic. I'm not a huge fan of the way that looks, but if you want to get the Prestige level, this will actually be a passenger display. That will allow you to do some of the functions in the main infotainment system over here on the passenger side because it is angled very much towards the driver. Now, as we move up here, you'll notice that we have an auto-dimming interior mirror, a compass built in with garage door openers underneath. And then as far as the sunroof is concerned, you will notice that we have some changes here. First of all, it is completely opaque right now. There is not a sunshade, but it has this really cool function. So if I pull back on it like it is able to open, you'll actually notice the opacity gradually goes away and you can kind of see through the roof. So whether you like that or not, it does not open and it does not have a sunshade, but I do really think that's kind of a cool feature to have the opaque ability that kind of goes across the moonroof itself. Let's go ahead and talk about the rear seats as well, because one of the beauties about the S5 has always been the fact that you can have a lot of fun, but you also have quite a lot of practicality. So I'm happy to tell you for this new generation, it's even getting a little bit more practical in overall size, because we are sitting at 36 inches of legroom, 37 inches of headroom. So those are really good figures. That is more than the outgoing generation. And I'm 5'9" for reference. This is my own driving position. And of course, we brought along the official Car Confections ruler. Now, the reason we do that is so we can see how much knee room you can expect. In that regard, we're looking at about 7.5 inches of knee room. That's very good for a sports sedan like this. My feet can also slide up underneath of the seat, and the seats themselves are very comfortable back here. They do not recline though, so keep that in mind. If we fold down the center armrest, we do have 2 cup holders inside. And then here in the center area, we have USB-C ports, we have our own climate vents, and we're also going to have our own climate controls for the 3-zone setup. If you want heated back seats, you can get that here on the Prestige level. Now, here in the center area, we have a large tunnel, so do be aware of that. And then over on the door trim, you will find quite a lot of good stuff going on. First of all, we have rear window sunshades. That's optional here on the Premium Plus, standard on the Prestige, and a very nicely done one. We have leatherette all through the upper part, suede all through the center section and on the armrest. And then we also have quite a bit of door storage. As you can see, it can easily swallow up a full water bottle like that in the door. Now, walking up to the tailgate itself, it is a power tailgate, standard equipment across all of the models. And here's another one of the beautiful aspects about the S5 and A5. It's the fact that it's a sport back. So the whole cargo area will open up, and you're going to have a lot more space than you certainly would expect for a vehicle that looks like a sedan on the outside. We're sitting at about 22.5 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. If we fold the seats down, we're looking at about 37.5 cubic feet. Now, that is going to be up a couple cubic feet over the previous generation, and depending on what you may be comparing this to, if it's something like a BMW M3 40i, this is a lot more practical, that's for sure. Now, as far as the features, we have a 20-40 split folding second row of seats. I do not have handles to fold them from the cargo area, so I will have to go up there and do it manually. And now that I've got those seats folded down, as you can see, they do fold completely flat with the floor. Let's get our cargo length, width, and height figures in case you're looking to haul something specific. So behind my own driving position, we're looking at 76 inches of cargo length, guys. That is very similar to something like an SUV. Of course, this is a lot more fun as well. We'll get into that just a little bit later. Behind the second row of seats, we're sitting at 42 inches of length. As far as cargo opening, it's going to also be pretty good, 40 inches wide. And as far as cargo height is concerned, it kind of varies a lot depending on, where in the cargo area you're looking at. Down here towards the end, you're going to be sitting at around 15 inches of cargo height, and then it does elevate up a little bit more. So I'd expect maybe at the tallest point around 26 inches, just to be aware of that. It's definitely not as tall as an SUV when it comes to that. Now, as far as the cargo load-in height, that's also quite good. We're sitting at 25 inches for our load-in height. Underneath of the floor, there is not a spare tire. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the all-new Audi S5. Of course, we cannot wait to show you the performance of this model. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading. But first, we need to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
Wow.
All right, and that was a quick acceleration, a little past 60 miles per hour in the all-new Audi S5. Now, as you could tell, that was a very quick jaunt to 60 miles per hour. And as far as what's under the hood, we talked about it at the spec dump, but this is going to have the upgraded engine in the lineup because it's the S5, of course. That means we have a 3-liter turbo V6 making 362 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. And
you certainly feel it.
Yeah, you absolutely do feel it. I believe this model has a 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds, according to Audi. And it's going to be about 13 more horsepower than the previous generation S5, so you're getting a little bit more power on board as well.
And in this balanced mode where everything is a little bit quieter, a little bit more tuned down, it really sneaks up on you. You don't know you're going that fast until you hit it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we'll go ahead and toggle into dynamic mode. When we put it in dynamic mode, there's a couple things that happen. First of all, the suspension changes, the steering changes a little bit. Also, the exhaust, it goes ahead and opens up those valves to give you the maximum noise. And let's go ahead and do an acceleration like this.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
It sounds really, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely lovely sound on board with this S5. That's included as standard equipment. Now, as far as, any mild hybridization, that's not going to be going on for the A5 or the S5 for that matter. So just keep that in mind. It's just going to be the 3-liter turbo V6. As far as the A5's power figures, you're going to be sitting at about, I believe, 268 horsepower for that model. So this is quite a bit of an upgrade.
Now that A5 is also up on power for 2026. It's going to be about 7 more horsepower. You're going to be sitting at 295 pound-feet of torque and a 0 to 60 of about 5.6 seconds. So it's not too much of a sacrifice if you don't need the V6, if you want the better fuel economy. It's still going to give you a joyful driving experience because that's what the Germans do.
And as far as the other aspect of the powertrain, we have a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic on all versions of the A5 or the S5 model. It's a very good transmission. It's very crisp when in terms of shifting. It does a great job of giving you the power when you need it. And as far as the overall just dynamics of this model, we're here in the city and unfortunately don't have a lot of time to take it out on a back road, but I can just tell going through this sweeping corner that Audi definitely has done a pretty good job when it comes to dynamics with this vehicle. It's more than just a big engine put in, and it definitely has some good steering feel. I will say it's a little bit lighter than my preference. For those of you that are familiar with the channel, you know that we actually own a BMW 3 Series. No, it's not the M340i, but even considering that, it has a lot firmer and heftier steering than this Audi. It's lacking a little bit of feel in my opinion. But overall, the dynamics are very good. It does a good job of keeping the body controlled even as you go through corners pretty swiftly. And even under light acceleration is just so good. But yes, let's go ahead and get our sound level reading going 55.
We are sitting at 55 miles an hour. Our climate is on fan speed 1. Let me get it. Now it is on 1. Very, very nice. Before we started slowing down, we were sitting at 52.1 decibels for this all-new S5. That, I think, goes to show that this can have its fun, but it can also be very comfort-focused as well. And I don't have to sit here and guess. I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings to compare it to all of its competitors. And as I suspected, this S5 is one of the quietest options in this segment. It is only beaten out by our very own BMW 330e, which has the advantage of being able to turn its engine off completely. So that is a really good performance for this S5 here.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that this vehicle is riding on Audi's new PPC platform, so the premium, what is it?
Premium platform combustion. You got to picture it with a German accent.
It is riding a completely new platform, and I think they have focused kind of overall feel of sport and luxury. So you do kind of get that executive feel behind the wheel of this S5 because it does have really fantastic ride quality, which of course I'm going to talk about now. So as you go over bumps and things, this does a really good job of soaking them up. And as you saw when we were in dynamic mode, it also has a nice sporty character as well. That's mainly because we do have the adaptive suspension. That is an option here on the Premium Plus, standard on the Prestige, and boy, I'm very impressed with this. We actually just drove the new Q5 with the full air suspension, which, by the way, is not available on this vehicle, but I don't think you need it. I think this is a much better suspension setup overall. I actually think this rides a little bit better than the Q5 with the air suspension.
And I'll also mention that you can get acoustic glass if you go for that top Prestige model. But let's talk about the fuel economy for this A5 and S5. As Mason mentioned, this does not have any mild hybrid technology, and the A5 doesn't as well. That is different from what they are getting over in Europe, especially with the Q5 and the A5 models. They are getting that mild hybrid, so we are missing out on that. So what are your economy ratings going to be? You're going to be sitting at 26 combined for the A5, 22 combined for this S5, which those are not bad readings. That is in line with a lot of the other six-cylinder options in this segment until you start looking at things like the M340i, which is getting in the upper 20s. I believe it's 27 combined for the mild hybrid B58 inline six.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball. I'll go ahead and kick us off with the Slam Dunk and say that we're really happy that for this new S5, they really didn't mess with success too much. It still very much feels like the S5 Sportback that we certainly have loved in the previous generation model. The character of the engine is certainly very good as well. The overall solidity in here is nice, and it's also a little bit quieter than it was before. So I think they've made some good improvements without messing too much with success.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. But as far as the Airball is concerned, if you do like a lot of tech, this cabin is a really great place to be now. It's definitely a step up for 2026. But if you like to have more fine materials throughout the cabin, more leather, things like that, less piano black, especially with this lack of passenger display, this is not going to be the cabin for you. You can find some options that have a lot more leather throughout the cabin and making it more plush.
And now it's time to discuss pricing. So, like I said at the beginning, the S5 starts at around $62,000. If you want the A5, that can be had for as little as $49,700. Now, what we have today is the Premium Plus model. So, we're $62,700. Premium Plus adds $3,800. We also have a few options, including the Napa leather seats, the adaptive suspension, $1,295 destination. All told, we're sitting at $71,235. Now, you may be wondering, we called it a 2026. It says 2025 on the sticker. The reason for that is because Audi went ahead and wanted to ship out these new S5s as well as some other models like the Q5. In order to avoid confusion, we went ahead and labeled it as a 2026. It will be switching to that model year here shortly, but for the time being, you can actually buy two 2025 Audi A5s and S5s, one the old generation and one the new generation, hence why it says the all-new Audi S5. Now, if you're looking to buy an Audi S5 or any new vehicle, we'd also like to encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that connects you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that and our monthly payment tool, be sure to find the link in our video description as well as the pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. Now, for resale value, we used my economics degree to come up with a predicted resale value for this Audi S5. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 40.5% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 14.4%. Now, it's worth noting those are certainly on the lower end of the spectrum. It's below industry average, and it's also going to be a little bit lower than some of the other German luxury brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and brands like Genesis.
Now, we've also done the same for predicted reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a variety of different data from trusted automotive resources. Now, using our new 2025 data, Audi is still rated below industry average in accordance to all other vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our reliability information, our resale data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, when it comes to your warranty, Audi is including a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty, no complimentary maintenance. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth review of the all-new 2026 Audi S5. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and we also strive to provide you the earliest reviews of all new models like this. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.